So in 2020, shit's hit the fan. And, I said this at the very beginning of the year, in March or April, right as the pandemic, you know, uh, came upon us. And I said, 2020 is going to be the year that either breaks you or makes you. So this is a defining year. It's a year that there's had a lot of energy, a lot of a lot of transformations, but there's also been a lot of people that allowed this to be an excuse as to why they couldn't. And so the year's not over. And 2020 is an abundant year in many ways. And especially for us in real estate, we've got a really amazing opportunity. While there's some people that can't even go back to work, or some people that have lost their jobs because of it, we have an even better opportunity. And, in real estate, there's cycles. There's moments where there's like lots of opportunity, and then there's also moments where the opportunity is hidden and we have to dig further in order to get to the gold. Right now, we don't have to dig that far. The gold is right in front of us. And especially with our systems and the opportunities that are available to us, those opportunities are, if we don't take advantage of them, somebody else will, because they're right there. And so I just want to bring in that energy for today's meeting and offer some reflection here. So there's going to be 4 prompts that we journal on, and I'm going to give you guys probably 7 minutes for each journaling question. So let's just dive right into the first one. So the first one is, in what ways have you grown in 2020? And what can you appreciate about how you showed up this year? And actually, I think it would feel complete to go into the second one as well. So we're going to actually journal on both of these. And by the way, this is what my journaling session was this morning. So I'm sharing this practice with you guys. In what ways did you miss out on a growing opportunity? And where was there a moment that you could have been more intentional about your growth? And what could have been possible this year if you were more intentional? So let's just start there. We're going to appreciate moments in the past where we did show up and where we have grown. And we're also going to see the opportunities that maybe we missed. And by bringing that into our awareness, and the beautiful thing is that when we have these experiences and we do this level of reflection, we're bringing in the awarenesses that allow us to change and allow us to transform. Because anything that happens outside of our awareness is just on autopilot. We don't have any, intention around it. But if we are aware and we are building our awareness, anything that happens within that awareness is our choice. So we can have a new set of choices. And if we have a new set of choices, we have a new reality. We have new circumstances. We have new levels of abundance. And now, before we go on to the next prompts, we do want to open up the space to have some shares on what came up for you. And Myra, we just set the frame this morning that 2021 is right around the corner. And what I said earlier this year, especially like right when COVID started happening, that 2020, we have lots of choices in 2020, and 2020 will go down in history as either the year that will break you or the year that made you. And I know that 2020 is full of opportunity. and it's been a really great year for many people, and it's also been a really sad year for others. And we can choose how to finish our year strong. And everything we do today for the rest of the year matters for 2021. And what I love about this question, what came up for me when I was journaling about this morning, was, there's always another level within us. There's always an opportunity. And that's like the humbling, but also empowering part of this journey is that, even when we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone, in those moments, we're growing. And so when we grow is when we also expand into possibilities. And the more that we grow, the more possible things become. And so when we look back on push periods, it was the most that we could do given the tools and the mentality that we had in that moment. But in those moments, it's also a growing opportunity. So when we look back, we could say, wow, I'm so much more equipped now than I was. And so that's why with each push period that we do, those push periods, like they always get better. That we always get more, we always get more like into our manifestation of our results. So I've probably been a part of probably 24 push periods over the course of my career. And every push period got better. Every push period, I was able to do more. I was able to be more. And it's because each time I had that push period, I held that sacred. I was intentional about doing everything that I could. But looking back on it, my very first push period, I totally could have done more if I had the tools that I have right now. And so that's the beautiful part about this journey, is that there's always another level, and everything you experience is setting you up for the next level of growth. It's like, man, I'm in the middle of a transformation and the circumstances are changing, right? The circumstances are different, but that just means that I'm being called to become more. I'm being called to grow my circumstances, grow myself out of my circumstances into new circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I just always love to root into is that where we are is exactly where we're supposed to be in the moment. There are no regrets, right? We're supposed to experience this because there's a lesson. There's something available to us that we can receive. The other thing I'll share about the business, I believe that there's really three things that have impacted me the most in my life, that have completely shifted my perspectives, and really like the way that I actually, like, if I'm just speaking to it authentically, there's three things that have grown my level of consciousness, my level of awareness, my level of connectedness to my creator. And those three things are sports. When I was growing up, that changed me. Psychedelics, which I know sounds kind of crazy, but I've done work with psychedelics, and that's also been something that grew my awareness. But also the third thing, which is probably the most impactful thing, is business. My businesses have helped me grow so much and have helped me expand my awareness so much, because our businesses are always a reflection of who we are. If there's a problem in our business, it's because there's something that we have to work on. And business is always a great mirror for who we are. And if there's something going on, like if you're not happy with a part of your business, there's probably a part of you within you that you're not happy with. And it doesn't mean that you're not on your path. It means you are on your path. You're just meant to overcome that. You're meant to be challenged by that. And so what I love most about this business is that it's such an amazing mirror for what's next for our development, what's next for the evolution of our spirit. Our business will tell us that. So that just came up for me as you were sharing, Myra. So thank you so much for that. Does that feel complete for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Very much.
So what we're going to do next, we're going to finish today off with 2 more prompts, and we're going to have another 12 minutes to journal on it. So we just reflected on 2020, reflected on the past. We reflected on some of the key moments that really, where we showed up well. And then we also reflect on some of the opportunities that we missed. So now that we reflected on the past, now we can connect to a vision for the future. And we're going to be talking about specifically this year. So in the last quarter of the year, so we're in the home stretch of the year, what experiences do you want to have before this year is over? And this could be anything, right? It could be, having a certain experience in your business, could be having a certain experience within you in terms of your growth. It could be having a certain experience with your family. Whatever is calling to you is something that's really important to you. That, and by the way, when you do name this experience, it has to be an experience that feels just a little bit out of reach, right? So it's an experience that, like, you have to become the version of you that's more elevated, that can create that experience. So, like, what is that? What's that experience that could stretch you just a little bit for this year, that could help you grow into having that experience? And then the last part of this prompt is, what intention can you set for yourself today that will give you the energy to be the version of you that finishes 2020 strong? And then just a few follow-up questions to ask: what has to change? Who do you have to be today? Another thing that comes to mind is, what do you have to let go of? Maybe it's a belief, maybe it's a perspective, maybe it's an attachment, maybe it's a habit. What do you have to let go of? What do you have to embody? What are the values that are going to be important for you to finish 2020 strong? Who do you have to become? My very first mentor that I ever had at 18 years old, he said something to me that just changed me forever. And that was, your level of income will never exceed your level of personal development. So our bank accounts are in direct proportion to our personal development account. The more that we grow as people, the more that our business grows, the more that our bank account grows. And there's such a good example on this, where, I don't know the exact statistic, but I believe it's like 90% of people that win the lottery actually become more broke within 3 years of winning the lottery. So they get more into debt. And the reason why is because they have, this money that they didn't develop themselves or develop the maturity to be able to handle that amount of money. And so by just it being given to them, they don't have the frequency of that level of money. And so they ended up going back to the place they were, and in some cases even worse, if they didn't grow themselves. So, that's just a really telling example of, like, how this all works. And when we can grow ourselves, then we can be more influential in our business. We can create more, we can do more, we can serve more, we can earn more. Have an amazing day today, an amazing week, and I'll see you next week.